Hello everybody, it's me, Coffee Stitcher. It's December 1st. Can you believe we're almost to the end of the year? Don't you hate it when people say stuff like that? How's everybody's week? Coffee. That's good to hear. I'm glad everybody had a good week. I had a very productive week. This may be a longer video than last week's. I would hope so, at least, given what all I've got to go over with you. But we've got Q&A. We've got some fabulous haul to show off. And then whips, of course, and to finish. First off, I do want to make one quick advance apology. It's very windy here today. If you hear sort of a weird, low howl, it's the wind, and there's not a darn thing I can do about it. You may also hear my washer cut off. Again, not much I can do there either. But let's roll right on along. I got a haircut, so my hair looks good again. All right. So diving right in to the Q&A. I hope everyone who celebrates had a good Thanksgiving. Linda Klein says, wants to know who the designer of the Wizard of Oz piece is. It's just called Wizard of Oz. And it's by Leslie Teare, T-E-A-R-E. And it is available for download on her site. It was in a cross-stitch gold about 6 years ago. I don't actually have the magazine. I keep looking for it. I want to say it was like number 95 or so. So if you subscribe to that and had it, that's where it is for sure. But it's also available through her. And having compared it to, because of course it's on Pinterest, because... of course. And I discovered that way back in the day. So when I saw it there, and then I got her to put it on her site, and I could buy it from her legitimately, it's laid out a little better through her than it was in the magazine. Apollonia Lambertus asks, do you celebrate Thanksgiving? We do celebrate it. We do cook. I cook most of the side dishes, and then Mom takes care of the meat. I just think that we've gotten so far away from the point of it that it's not worth bothering anymore, but I'm the minority on that one. So that's, so I do celebrate, but there you have it. Rose City Stitcher asks, who is the designer of the It project? It's by Dusky Stitches on Etsy. I did do some modification color-wise to it, not tremendous amounts, but there's more, she uses a few more pinks, so I actually took what's supposed to be, because there's a dark, a mid-dark, a mid-light, a light, and then a pink, and then a lighter pink. And what I did is I took the symbol for the mid-dark and the light-dark and made that one, and then I made the light-dark, so on and so forth. Just so it would be less pink, more red. Mandy Parker asks, what size of Q-snap are you using on the love piece? I did a Frankenstein 6x8. So that's what I was using. It really actually fit an 8x8 pretty well, I discovered there at the end. So I finished it out on an 8x8. And just to make all the back stitch and specialty stitches a little easier. It didn't fit the whole thing perfectly, So I did have to cover some of my stitches for a little bit, but that was why I basically, well, you'll see. Karen Honey, I'm glad you find out the homework from me. I always try to explain it. So... Dana Boyce says she wonders what the Pennywise and Georgie pattern would look like on a monster green color. And I actually toyed with doing a couple of different colors for the fabric, but ultimately what I decided on, after discussing it with some people, part of what makes it that pattern so great is what's not there. The implication of his face, so with just the eyes and the balloon. And I think if you do it on anything other than a white or a very subtle off-white, you would lose that effect. So it probably would look good on green or another color, but I would personally recommend leaving it on white or off-white. Oh, hang on, it's loading. The next one's down. Oh, nope, I think that's all of them. Haha. Okay, so that was all the Q&A. Good Q&A, everyone. If I offended anyone with my comments about Thanksgiving last week, I do apologize. Too many years in retail has kind of ruined the holiday for me. But to those who do enjoy it, cheers. All right. So let's get into the haul. So first, I had my my nest egg order come in. Just lost part of it. And this was the this month, and then next month is just Krynic. She did ship number 8 braid, which is fine by me because actually a couple of these are in Brooks Books designs, so I'll need them. And sometimes the number 8 actually works better for the effect I'm trying to achieve. So we got Dusky Mead, Deep Coral, Dragonfly, and Electric Blue. So we got those. And then very kindly, one of my fellow Hufflepuffs got a bunch of size 26 petites that she did not like. So she sent those to me. So I got a nice little vial of size 26 John James petites. And then she's also started making embroidery floss rings, which this would be perfect for a Jeanette Douglas. So she sent me these to try out. So it came on a ring. It's got little, I think they're called floss drops. And it had a cute little coffee charm. So that'll be perfect for when I decide to actually start that Jeanette Douglas one. All right. So that was that haul. And then yesterday I went to Stitch Niche. And I finally spent my prize money from work. So I'll show you what I got. Because I got a slew of things. Okay, so first I'll show you the boring. I needed Weeks Dye Works putty for Count Your Blessings. So I picked that up. And then for the Frosted Pumpkin Nutcracker Parade, I got the skein of Granny Annie and Sugar Plum. That's called for. I bought some fabric from Ship's Manor that I'll use for it when it arrives. And I'm going to do some converting with it. I'm going to do some Etoile and some Krynic to make it sparkly. But I did definitely need those two. Alright, so then, let's see. Then I got a nice cut of 14 count Ada in sort of a neutral color. It's a 17 by 29 piece. And since I went through and looked at a bunch of magazines from Cross Stitch and Country Crafts, I'm sure I will probably be using it for that. So, but I thought $9 for a big piece of Ada, that is good with me. Alright, then we get to the patterns and things. So I got this year's ornament kit from Stitch Ninja. Unfortunately, there's not a picture of the actual ornament itself, but if you go to their Facebook page, it should be there. But it comes with everything you need for it, as always. So I've gotten every year's set so far. Then I got the next pattern that had been released in the Words to Live By, the Stay Humble, Work Hard, Be Kind. So there's 2 more left to go. So we'll get those. That'll finish up in January. That maybe by next January I'll be finished with it. We'll see. I think, honestly, once I get done with that middle pattern, it'll go pretty quick, because it's not a whole lot of stitching in the smaller parts. Then I got, and they literally had just come in. She hadn't even gotten them price tagged. I got the Winter House on a Hill. It's the Flower of Winter. And it's... As always, it comes with a little felt. So here's the pattern. So I've got 3 of the 4 now. The last one, the spring one, hasn't come out yet. So this time it's supposed to be a Victorian mansion. And then I got Holly Jolly Farm. And I'm going to totally do this on a blue fabric. So, I like it. I especially like, there are chickens holding a string of wreaths. And then, inspired by Miss Oh So Crafty's finish of the Mill Hill Christmas Village on fabric, I bought the first one. I haven't decided all, which I think I can fit on the fabric that I've got in mind. I think I can fit 9. I may be able to get 12, but I'm going to have to sit and do some math on that. But I got Bookseller as the first one. So, and that was my haul from Stitch Niche yesterday. Very exciting. Alright, so when last we left off, I was finishing up the eye on Pennywise, which I did. So there we go. Again, this is by Dusky Stitches. So I've just got one more. I've got his other eye left to go. And then he will be done. So I will potentially start on that later this week. Because the goal is to have it done pretty quickly so that I can take it to get it framed. Because it's going to be a lot bigger than I can frame myself. And then this was all on Sunday. Then I worked a little on on the Weasley twins. I went ahead and finished out George's arm. Because it didn't have a lot left, and I was I wanted to finish his arm out. I was like, I need that done. This is weird. And then I'll go back to working on his scarf. So, but I got his arm done. Didn't backstitch it, though. Just got the main stitches done. And again, that's by Mandarin's Design. And they're basically mirrored. The only difference between George, his hairstyle is just a little different. Instead of an F, it has a G. And then I was having new start-itis. So I actually started a Older Dimensions kit. That's one I got from the Stash Queen when she was destashing. It's from '88. It's the Lord, or the Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd. And I'm not gonna lie, the primary reason why I like that psalm is because it's the theme song to the Vicar of Dibley, which is one of my favorite shows. But I actually was having a lot of fun working on it. So it's big. So I got Ear No Evil stitched, which I was then cough cough ulna cough cough accused of doing that specifically for the George joke, which I had not, at least not intentionally. But sometimes those jokes are just irresistible. Tip your waitresses, folks. They work hard for you. All right. Okay, so let's see. Now we'll discuss homework for the week. And while I didn't really do much in the way of bonus stitches this week. Sorry, y'all. Because the projects I picked, because I wasn't sure what to work on, so I let the wheel decide for me, which was a mistake. So we were supposed to, because in the book, the first Horcrux, they have to trade back and forth because it affects their moods. So I had to stitch 100 stitches on 3 different projects, and then from there, any 100 stitches you got after that counted as bonus points. And I only got like 200, so I only got two bonus points, and I still need to post those pictures. So the wheel first chose Quaker Oz by Ori TM. And then I discovered, and I'm going to have to go back and frog, because I realized it's just going to throw everything off. I missed 1 stitch. But here's where it is overall. So I put in the black over here, which is the Wicked Witch's dress. And I missed a stitch here. It should be 5. So I've got to frog, basically, fortunately not that much. I just have to frog that little bit here. So it won't take long to undo and fix. And I'll probably work on that. And I may actually just keep working on this one today, since it's Sunday and I can still get my bonus points. Ooh, that's a good idea. Way to be smart, Garrett. That's the thing to do. So we'll work some more on Quaker Oz today by Ori TM. We'll see how far I get. And I did the little crow, and I did like the last row of the tree that was not done, which made me feel really silly when I pulled this page, because it was a new page that I started on. And I felt really silly when I pulled it up and I went, really, I just have to stitch 1 row. Why didn't I just look ahead? Like I did with the Dorothy pattern, but I guess it was a lot more obvious with this little blue, yellow, red piece. It was probably just more obvious. So there you go, but here it is overall. Ooh! One of my balloon ropes snapped. I will have to fix that. Ba-doo. So So that's what we will work on today. So we'll set this over here. Then, the wheel spun and got me Now You're in the World from Heart and Hand. So I did 100 stitches, which got me a little of water and a super cute bunny done. So here's the overall. And there's the little bunny. Isn't he sweet? Sweet bunny. So that was a nice one to work on. And we'll come back to the wheel here, discussion on the wheel here in a second. So that was my next 100, and then my last 100 was Lizzie Kate's Spirit of Christmas. which you may recall I have not worked on in a while. You may also recall that I'm changed the verse on it. So I got the little potted plants pot finished, and I got the verse, part of the verse done. So I was really enjoying working on it. So after I fix the witch, I may work on this one a little bit more. We shall see. All right. So that was last week's homework. And then I decided to work on... then I decided I would keep spinning the wheel just to see what all it would have me work on. And I was just going to do 100 stitches. So also that day, I worked on... This was on Monday, because I was off Monday. So I worked on quilts. So I got 100 stitches in, and I was putting these towards bonus points. So I got 100 more stitches in on quilts. This is from Long Dog Samplers. So I got a couple of hearts and some border pieces done. Worked on quilts. I worked on Nevermore. And I started the alphabet, which I'm doing in Royal Purple from Gentle Arts. And I got 6 letters done. So just 20 more letters to go, and then the letter part will be done. And then I worked on Universal Monsters. And got the light and the windows all done. So there's that. So I've still got some clouds to finish up, and then this side will be done, and then I'll start in on the other side of the house. Yay! I will say I'm going to be very glad when the rooftop is done, and I can go back to doing the interesting part, which is the more interesting part, which is the rooms. But I'm still enjoying it. Alright, and then I realized that I was getting close on a deadline to get Christmas gifts done. So I worked on and then finished the piece for my pseudo-grandmother. This is the one that's The Love Grows Here, or my grandneighbor, really. I finished it yesterday. So I worked on it Thursday. I worked on it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I basically spent 4 days. So here it is, all finished. This is on Portobello from Fabric Flare. It's by Elizabeth's Designs. And it says, Love Grows Here. I couldn't get the Mill Hill treasure, so I instead substituted beads for them. But there it is. So it's real pretty. I think she's really going to love it. I just got to find a frame for it. It's a little outside of being 5x7. It's like... So it's like 5.5 by 7. So I may not be able to frame it myself. I'm certainly going to give it the old college try. Assuming I can find a frame that'll fit it, but I may have to have it custom done. So that's going to be a little bit of a hustle. All right, so that brings us to this week's homework, which is called Travels. We're supposed to do 100 stitches on each one. Penalty stitches are 150. So something I've decided that I'm going to do this year, or going forward, and I forgot to grab 2 of the pieces for it. So pause while I grab them. There's one. Here's 2. Fortunately, I was able to lay hands on them quickly. Oh, no. No. Pardon me. All right. So, something I've decided that I'm going to do for next year versus trying to do all sorts of new starts, if I need something to fit a prompt, is if I've got something that fits a homework assignment, then great, perfect, I'll use it. If I don't, then I will spin the decision wheel. Whatever it picks, I will do penalty stitches on for the one I don't have. That way I'm not just continually starting new things. So the first one is we're supposed to work on our second favorite whip, because the Horcrux made us feel uncertain. So I will work on quilts again, which you just saw. The second one is we stopped by the Love Goods for help. And we can stitch one of 4 things. We have to tell why we think it relates, and an image. So what I'm currently doing, and I may end up doing 150 on it, in case I can't get creative enough. I'm going to work on Paradise Lost from Plum Street. So here's the full image. And here's where I'm at on it. So I started in on the angel and for some reason just stopped. So my goal is going to be to finish out that cloud and work on the angel. And I'm going to fit that in because there's a peacock and it sort of looks like it has a horn on the top of it. At least that's what I'm going to kind of go with. But like I said, I will probably just go ahead and do 150 just to play it safe. While we were at the Love Goods, Xenophilius, Luna's father, told us the story of the 3 brothers, which came from the Tales the Beatles Bard. And it concerns 3 brothers. One who, the oldest brother, was combative and wanted power, so death gave him the Elder Wand, which could not be defeated. The middle brother was arrogant and liked to humiliate people, and so he asked for the Resurrection Stone. He got the Resurrection Stone, which would bring people back from the dead. And then the youngest brother, who's the most humble, wanted to be somewhere where death couldn't find him, and received the invisibility cloak. And the older 2 brothers meet sticky ends, but when the youngest brother, when it's time, he greets death like an old friend. So we're supposed to work on something that affects that. I really didn't have anything that I thought specifically fit it. So the decision wheel picked Now You're in the World. So it'll get another 150 stitches. So I'm going to work, I think, probably on the water for it and keep it going. Because the water is really the worst part on those. Then number 4 is a project with an R item. So I'm going to work on the Leslie Tier Wizard of Oz for Ruby Slippers. And we'll get 100 in and see where that takes us. And then the last project, we've got a couple of our friends who are trapped. We don't know where. We suspect Malfoy Manor. Luna's with them, Dean's with them. We think Mr. Ollivander is there, as well as good old Harry, Ron, and Hermione. So we're supposed to stitch on something that we think would be a good prison. And we're hoping that what we can do is we can bring them from that prison to the one we've stitched, and then we can rescue them out of that. So I will be working on Nevermore, because what's more prison-y than a graveyard? and Spooky Mansion. At least as of now, that's what I'm going to work on. So it's 600 stitches, one for each of the 6 people trapped. And a bonus point for each 100 stitches. So, yeah. So that is the homework for the week. Yeah. So I guess that's kind of it for me this week. I hope everyone has a wonderful start to December. And I will see you all next time. Bye.